Hey everybody, I am Derek Rogers with Arneeon Media. Just doing a little review here because I figure it's a good idea right now to transition into looking at the new Google AdWords, especially since Google is about to launch the new AdWords. It's in beta mode. Everybody can use it right now. Hopefully you are already using it if you are a PPC specialist. If you are not, and even if you are, this should give you some good tips of what you can do with the new AdWords. So in October is when Google's going to be officially launching the new AdWords and shutting down the old AdWords, as far as we understand it anyway. This particular video is designed to just go through some top tips, 10 top tips for the new AdWords and things that you may not have known that you can do with it, and what makes it a little bit different and better. The transition to the new AdWords was difficult, and I started right when they launched the beta testing. I started using it, and I was going back and forth all the time because I'm like, I can't stand this, go back to the old AdWords. Now I predominantly use the new AdWords. There's only a few things that I use the old AdWords for, and I've put those things into recommendations for Google because they're looking for feedback on things they need to change in the new AdWords to make it better and better, especially before the full official launch. So if you have suggestions, go to their feedback option right in the top right corner of the new AdWords, and you can submit things you'd like to see improved with the new AdWords. Good stuff. So there's the new AdWords interface. So I'm going to deal with 10 different tips here. The first one is kind of separate and on its own, and it's simply the new keyword planner. Is much better than it was, and it's actually tracking stats again for keywords, which is awesome because I'm an SEO as well. It's great to have access to those details. So the way it's found in the new AdWords is up at the little wrench at the top right here under planning section. When the beta started, there wasn't a wrench here, there was just some dots. Now they have a wrench, indicates what it is. This is where you're going to get things done. So you go into the planning, keyword plan. If you are a multi-tab using guy in Chrome like I am, where I have 20 plus, 30 plus tabs open at all times, AdWords really seems to bog down, and there's a cache thing that happens where it just takes time to load things at times. So that's something I'm mentioning to them. Let's take a look at some keywords here. So let's go SEO Vancouver, or let's go make it a little longer, SEO Services Vancouver. See search volume and forecasts. Yes, so that's what we want to do. Hit enter, get started. So I'm just putting one keyword in here. So look what it does. It's got a beautiful layout. It shows you kind of the peaks throughout the year. It gives you optional and related keywords. Top of page bid, low range. Top of page bid, high range. So for bidding on this, you're spending between 9 and 13, according to their stats. Now that's may not be incredibly accurate, but especially if you're doing sweet ninja skills with your PPC campaigns, making use of good keywords and negative keywords, and also your bid strategies, you can probably get way better than that. Also your quality landing pages, all those factors that everybody knows applies to PPC, everybody that's a PPC specialist at least. But just look at that. I mean, it's great. It gives you the average monthly volumes here, tells you the competition rate, and it just does it in a neat way. And all of these things can be added to your plan or to your ad group. So if you wanted to create a new ad group, you could do it right here. You can choose what type of match, broad match, phrase match, exact match. Doesn't have broad match modifier, unfortunately. Yeah, so you can just add it right to your plan. That's pretty sweet. So that is tip number 1. Keyword planner is back and functioning, and it's awesome. Hot tip number 2 is campaign setup functionality. And this is awesome. Google has really improved this functionality. In fact, several of my next tips all kind of relate to the whole campaign setup process. So let's just take a look here. This campaign, I already have an account set up, so all the information is here. I already have one campaign set up. What I'm going to do here is just make sure we're on the campaign level, go to campaigns, and then use this little plus here. I'm just going to walk through it here real quick. So what type of campaign are we setting up? Search, display, shopping, video, or universal app? We're doing a search campaign for this one. I want the focus to be leads. This goal is an interesting thing. I don't know how much it actually affects things because I've seen old campaigns set up in old AdWords that I'm now managing in new AdWords, and it doesn't have the goal set yet. It's still functioning fine. So I go in later and I check mark the goal to make sure that it's set to leads. I don't think it actually does anything, but you know, you want to have that there. I'm targeting website visits, so it asks for the URL of your website. We'll just set that up. Actually, you don't need to have HTTP or HTTPS. Google will intuitively know what your site is set up with. Mine is, of course, secure because I'm an SEO and I know that that is important. So phone calls, yes, I want to use the phone call extension. So we add the phone call here. I do not live in the United States. I'm in Canada. So I got to scroll. Darn you, United States, for being so much a part of every single program I use. No problem. We love you. So you brought us, Google. Okay, so we'll put in the phone number here, which is, do I have this right? Yes, I do. 877-700-777-4. There we go. That adds my call extension. Now it brings you to the next page. It shows you kind of the goal here. What do you want to name this campaign? Well, this is a local campaign that I'm running. So I'll set it up as local. You can title it whatever you like. I will divide it into different things depending on what I'm doing for my clients. In this case, I'm running a local campaign for myself, so I'm just going to call it local. So it's on the search network already, which includes Google Search Partners. Yes, we want that. Do we want to add display network? Not at this time. Locations. So I already like the way this is laid out. It's in these little cards that are kind of neat, easy to see. I am going to, this is a local campaign, so I want to target a location, not all of Canada. So I'm just going to target the province of British Columbia, which is where I am. Here we go. And yeah, I'll target the whole province. Budget. This is your daily spend. So let's say I have a $600 budget. I want to do 600 divided by 30.4 because that's the conversion factor or the multiplication factor that Google uses for determining monthly spends. So it comes out to 19.73. I've done it enough times that I know that. Delivery method, I am just going to use standard delivery because I don't want it to blow the budget way too fast. Bid strategy, we can't modify. What? Did this just change? You usually cannot select this. It'll show you options, but you can't select them. I can select them here. Okay, this it might be because I already have a campaign set up. That's probably what it is in this account. So usually you can't select anything but manual CPC to start with, and then you have to come back later after you've got the whole campaign set up and change that. So that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. The other thing is, so I'm going to use enhanced CPC for this one. In the old AdWords, it has this information here, but you can't. In the old AdWords, you can just hit save and it'll use what was imported here. In this one, it actually wants you to type in something. So I just copied that and now I'm pasting it. Exactly the same thing. Why are you doing that to me, Google? I don't know. So now it's in there. I can now save that. So you can see the call extensions here. I totally typed it in wrong. It's supposed to be 844. Good thing I had it on my other campaign so it knows it's there. Yes, I make mistakes. Okay, so I'm not going to go into any of these other additional settings except for targets. I'm targeting people in my target location areas. I don't want this to be a national campaign. I just want it to be local. And I am going to have, I probably won't have any excluded locations, but when I do this, people in target locations, I also set this up for people in excluded locations. Bingo, bambo, boombo. Let's move on to the next part so that we can continue on here. Save and continue. So here is tip number 3, ad group stacking. This is sweet. Basically, ad group stacking allows you to create your ad groups in a pile. So you don't submit until you've got all your ad groups. So this is fantastic. I love this feature, especially because I work with clients all over the place. You know, some of them have 10 plus ad groups, and for each of them you can go through this. It's really simple, so let's do that right now. So let's call this one Vancouver. Okay. Oh, that's, yeah, that's my spelling. Okay. Default bid, I'm just going to put it at $2. Bid. Enter your keywords. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to have my keywords pre-created. I don't have them pre-created for this, so I'm just going to put Vancouver. Let's go, we'll make it a phrase match. Vancouver SEO services. Top Vancouver. Let's put SEO in here and see what it does. See what it pulls up here for me. So this is actually pulling from the keyword planner. So online marketing, internet marketing. So we can add all these things. Search engine. No, I don't want that. Why did I do that? Goodbye. So just excellent that you can do all this right here. You can see the monthly search volumes right on the side here. Beautiful. So let's finish this one. Top SEO in Vancouver. I'm just making these up. These are not researched. I'm just doing them for, let's make that specific to Vancouver as well, because this is my Vancouver ad group. So you get the idea. Then you do not save and continue. You go add a new ad group. What? No way. So now you've got this one in view, this one in view. So let's say this one is, where can I go? Let's go Burnaby. Same thing, $2. Let's go Burnaby SEO. Processes, local SEO services, SEO Burnaby. It's not really focusing on my location specific information here, which is fine. But it does give you monthly volume amounts, so you can see local SEO company. All of these things I can add. I would probably add these to one of my main ad groups because I wouldn't add it necessarily to Burnaby, but for the sake of this video, we stack them. Now we can just keep stacking these, and that's the beauty of it. So this is tip number 3, ad group stacking. When we save and continue here, it's now created those ad groups, and now it has the ability to create new ads in a card format. So this is also cool. This is ad stacking. So now we've got ads here. If we had 10 ad groups, we would have 10 ad options here. So what I like to do, I'm just going to do this with some fake information. It's not really the URLs that I'm going to be sending to. Let's go SEO PPC. It might actually give an error because it's not a real URL. Keyword insertion, I like to use keyword insertion, which just pulls, whoops, keyword, get back there, dirty dog. It pulls from search results what people are searching and throws it into the title of the ads. So let's just go SEO services. This is in Vancouver. So you get the idea. I don't think the case matters there, but I will change it anyways just for formatting. Apply. So this will create that keyword insertion. So it'll overwrite this with, where it says here on the ad. This is the other thing it shows you is the ad preview on the side, which is really nice. And you can kind of get a couple different views on desktop and mobile, how it'll look. It's got your call, click to call number there. Your call extension, I should say. And so this ad, the title here will change with the keyword insertion. You probably already know that. I like to create a path that relates to whatever the ads are about. So SEO Vancouver. And then description, let's just say top SEO services, short-term contracts. What else do I want to say here? Short-term contracts, monthly reporting. Full service. White hat SEO. I am a white hat, not a white hate. What? No. No. Okay, monthly reporting. So I've gone over the limit. There's only 81 characters allowed. So let's just get rid of top. SEO services. Good enough. Okay, so done. Now, here is the cool thing with ad stacking. They also have a feature called ad, well, I call it ad copy. Copy. So you can take these ads, copy them. So what I like to do, let's do a little switcheroo here. So I'm going to take this headline. I forgot to put the second headline. That's great, Derek. Really good for the video. Let's go Arneeon Media. So this is kind of my branded headline. SEO services. So I've got the headline. I switched out the headline here for this one. I just switched the order, keeping everything else the same. Done. So now we got two different ads. I can edit this one and put something. Let's put top SEO services. So this one's not branded necessarily, except that it's already got the links to it, and go done. Now, the other part with this ad copy stacking tip is, or ad copy tip is that you can just skip this. So let's say we had 10 different ad groups here. Right now I've only got 2 for the sake of this video. If we save and continue, it just confirms some of the details. Yeah, we'll fix that. So we got our default terms here. We've got our 2 ad groups right here. So in Vancouver, the ads are created right here. So now I can take these, highlight them all, or check mark them all, go copy, and go to Burnaby and use the little paste. Ba-doing! It throws them in here, asks if I want them to be paused. Yes, I do. If I was doing this on a live account where the ads are running, I would of course want them paused. And now I can just go in and edit the links, the URLs, and the keywords. and format them the way I like them. And I can do that for every single ad group. Copy my ads. So I got the ad copy copied to each of the different ad groups. Sweet. I love it. It just streamlines the whole process. So that is tip number 5, ad copy. Tip number 6, audience manager. The new AdWords has a feature now where you can go into your audience manager under the little wrench icon in the top right. Audience manager, it's into the shared libraries. What happens is if you're using the global site tag conversion tracking method, you have to place a global tag on your site. That global tag already creates audiences for you. You don't have to add any other scripts to your header of your site. That global site tag will do the trick for you. So you can begin to build lists. So I just have one here, but what it does is it shows you what it's available for. So the different networks that it meets the criteria for. You can look at audience insights. You can look at audience sources. So here's the AdWords tag. It's saying there's 2 lists connected with that. Analytics. It's just a clean way to set up your remarketing. So if you're doing your display remarketing or any type of remarketing, you can do that right here. You can see, oh, does it work with display? Well, this list might be a little small. This is just an example list. I think you have to 100 plus to do these. Go back to the audience manager. So I've got the list, combined audience. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. It shows you right here whether it is a compatible audience or not. So we can use this, add it to one of our ad groups. So let's say we add it to local SEO. No, let's do the local one that I set up. We'll add it to both ad groups. Next. Choose the targeting settings for the audience. Let's do smart default. Uses your current ad group settings for the added audiences. Yes, let's use that. Add the audiences. So now they're added. And what I can do now is I can set up my display ads and I can remarket to those. And you can also do targeted search remarketing as well. RSMA, I can't remember the title of that. Here's a little extra tidbit. The overview window is very nice as well. So this little dashboard that it sets up with these cards gives you an overview and a snapshot of different parts of your campaign. So this campaign's not running, otherwise it would have more information here. It shows you your keywords. It'll actually show you the top search terms that are being used. It'll show you your location or ad schedule heat maps. It shows you a preview of the ads. So if I had site link extensions added, which I don't have yet on this campaign, I can hover over it. It'll actually show on here just below these ads the site link extensions and everything. So really cool. That's just an extra little tidbit. Tip number 6 was the audience manager, which is just a much more robust way to look at your audiences and interact with that and add it to your ads. Tip number 7 is landing page analysis. Now this is really cool for making sure that your landing pages are responding, it has a good user experience. So basically it shows you the metrics with your landing pages so that you can make your quality score better. You can just improve your campaigns overall with the metrics that it gives. So I have to do this kind of in a sneaky way because I have to use one of my clients' active campaigns to be able to show this. So sorry for the blurring out of things here, but basically it shows you each of the different main landing pages and the stats. So you'll notice there's a mobile friendliness. It shows you whether it's valid, whether there's an AMP page involved, clicks that you're getting, impressions, click-through rate, average cost per click. Whatever you set up in your filtered view here, which we're going to talk about in one of our other tips, will show. So this is just great for making sure that you are meeting the quality score. Your landing pages are a good user experience. Huge for optimizing your PPC strategies. Tip number 8 is custom saved filters for your ad groups and campaigns, basically at every level of your account. You can set up custom saved filters. So let me just dig into that one here. So here I'm showing the campaigns. This is at the campaign level. If we go into the ad groups, so let's just go into one of the campaigns. Now I'm at the ad group level. You'll notice that it shows these stats here. This is kind of the default filter for the columns. I guess this is, it could be titled something else besides save filters. I just called it save filters because there is other filters that you can use to show like all your enabled. You can look at attribution factors, whatever you want to set up for your or attributes. You can apply different filters to what you see here below this line. But what I'm talking about is your column view. So you can save or filter your columns and do it in a custom way for every single account in your MCC. And I believe you can apply it to each ad group. However you set it up for each client, basically, is how it's going to work. So if I wanted to change these columns, you'll notice it's got just kind of generic stuff. This is not the stats that I like to see. Now there is no stats to look at right now, but that's because this is not a running or active campaign that I'm showing this with. But for instance, I don't care about ad rotation. I don't care about ad group type, and I don't care about active bid adjustments right now. For my general view, I like to have the performance metrics. I like to have average position showing. So I've got clicks, impressions, click-through rate. I'll keep cost in there, average position, and then I like to have conversions. This is already set up as a conversion model. You'll notice that it's locked here over on the right hand side. Conversions is there, but I also want cost per conversion and conversion rate. So now I've added those. You can move the order around if you want to. Like I like to have impressions above clicks. To me that makes more sense because you get your impressions first before you get your clicks. Anyways, that's totally up to you what you'd like to customize it as. Then down here at the bottom there's a checkmark box. You set up your standard, this is my standard filter. You can name it whatever you want. Save it, apply it. Now it changes the columns so that it shows what you want it to show. So, and then you can shrink or maximize these. One of the main things that I didn't like about the new AdWords is this window. There just seems to be less real estate to see what you want to see. However, you can shrink all these windows. They're all adjustable. So you can set up, the things you really want to see. They're adjustable. What I've got here now fits, so I don't have to scroll sideways. The other thing you can do here is hide your left navigation bar, which just opens this up even more. So then you start to get that old kind of AdWords feel with the white space and the graphs and everything's looking nice. Up in the top here, you can set whatever you want to view on your graph. So that is tip number 8, saved custom columns or saved filters. New AdWords PPC tip number 9. You can now apply notes on your stats. Similar to what you can do in Analytics. So let me just show you here. So we're looking at a 7-day view right now. I'm filming this on May 30th, so it's giving me the last 7 days, May 23rd to the 29th. You can now add a note. Let's see, let's go to our ad ad group view, choose one of the ad groups. Actually, we could select all of them, so it applies to all of them. And what it's going to do here is it's going to create a note. So let's say that I've been running this campaign for 3 months. It's kind of plateaued and not much is happening. I make a huge decision and do a bid adjustment. So I change the bid strategy. So let's say I had it on enhanced CPC and I switched it to maximize conversions. Sometimes I do that on campaigns that need a little help with the budget. It's reaching a limited budget. Sometimes when you switch it to max conversions, Google uses its own proprietary measures and algorithmic measures to work within the budget a lot better, and sometimes you get really good results doing that. So let's say that I did that. I switched this to maximize conversions. So I save this note. What happens is that note, we can't see it now because of the view that we're on. I don't think it'll let us show it here. Oh, it does. Okay. It puts this little tag on here. So this tag will actually follow this timeline. So if I was expanded out to, let's say I was doing a custom view, I won't be able to do it now because the tag will always be at the end because this is the day that we're on. But you can have multiple tags on here, all indicating different tests or things that you've adjusted or tweaked on your campaign. And then you can watch the stats. So I've got this tag here. When I hover over it, it says maximize conversions were implemented. So now if I'm watching these stats a week down the road, I can see, whoa, after I implemented that, my conversion shot way up here. This adjustment really helped the algorithm, AdWords algorithm, to work well and optimize the campaign. So you can make a note of that. I keep track of things on spreadsheets because I like to test things, but it's just a great way to visually see that on each of your accounts where you've made major changes. I simply love it. So that is tip number 9, notes on your stats views. Tip number 10 is time window chunks. Basically in the new AdWords, there's an option to create your time window here. So this of course is in the old AdWords as well. But let's say we are in a 7-day view. Okay, so now we're looking at stats, May 23rd to May 29th. These are now chunked together. So I can go back in 7-day increments. This doesn't look as effective as it would if this was an active campaign, but you get the point here. Is it creates a chunk of time and allows you to go forward and back in those specified chunks. So if we change this to 14-day view, now it's showing 14 days. Now you switch and it's showing 14 days back. Just keeps doing that. Your custom and all-time view, one thing I don't like about the all-time view is it tends to show a massive time frame that doesn't apply to the campaign itself. So that's something I'm submitting to Google to change. So when you go to all-time view in the new AdWords, look at this, it goes back to November 2015. Well, I didn't have ads running back then. So what ends up happening is you end up with this long line here, and then, you know, somewhere a year ago when your campaign started, that's when you start to see your stats. So their all-time view, in my view, and I believe it did it in the old AdWords, I can't even remember now, I'm pretty sure it did, is it just went, it showed you from when the campaign started that you were looking at. That's what it should be like. So one thing I don't like is that all-time view. But this ability to move in these time chunks is awesome. Here's a 30-day view. We go back April 1st to the 30th, March 2nd to the 31st. So it's flipping through chunks. Now if we go a month, let's see what it does with last month. Does that actually work? Yes, it does. Look at that. It goes March 1st to the 31st. That's a longer month
Flip forward, now it's April 1st to the 30th, so it's a shorter month, and it actually knows that. So really cool. I like that part of the new AdWords. So there you go, guys. Top 10 tips and tricks for the new AdWords. Now, there's lots of things I didn't go into. Some of the I went into one bonus there where we looked at the overview dashboard. That is a cool feature. Another one is recommendations. That's another great little thing that works. So the recommendations it gives, it does it in a neat way. Allows you to see kind of why it's recommending what it's recommending, and you can implement those recommendations. Another thing I didn't go into is that you can do experiments and run split testing with different bid campaigns, not just the one that it suggests, but you can go, for instance, if you're running an enhanced CPC campaign, Google will recommend that you try maximize or target CPA. And it makes it look like that's the only one you can try. But in the drafts and experiments area of the new AdWords, you can create new experiments at any time, set them up for a month, run them. It'll split 50-50 or whatever you decide. It'll split your budget, and it'll run 2 simultaneous campaigns with exactly the same ad copy, keywords, everything exactly the same, with 2 different bidding styles, and then it'll show you the stats, and you can see clearly which one's winning. So that's another great feature. So I've given you, 3 bonuses with these top 10 tips. I hope you invest in using the new AdWords and end up enjoying it, especially if Google starts to implement fixing things like their caching issues, for instance, where it holds page information. When you flip to other pages, it's still holding the other client's information there. You're not on that client anymore. Please Google, fix it. That doesn't happen that often, but it does happen, and other weird caching things. So you saw a little bit of it here in the video as well. So top 10 from Derek with Arneeon Media. I hope you enjoyed it. I am a PPC and SEO specialist. I love digging into helping people get their websites active and online, and marketing online in an effective manner. My motto for Arneeon Media is we're lifting your spirits by raising your ranks, and that we are turning lambs into lions online. Peace out. Have a good one.